with a huge round of applause. Inspiring teams and cultivating an environment that thrives on resilience, teamwork, and the pursuit of excellence. Today, Captain Motivala ji will share his valuable perspectives along with our guests. Captain Motivala ji was born on 19 June 1958. He is a naval officer and a celebrated sportsman. An alumnus of Bombay Scottish High School and the National Defence Academy, he was commissioned into the Indian Navy in 1979. As a young sub-lieutenant aboard INS Chapel, his heroic actions during missile launch accident earned him the Shaurya Chakra. A passionate sailor, Sir won numerous national and international sailing titles, including 2 bronze and 1 silver. Post-retirement, Sir has excelled at India's national sailing coach, leading team to an historic performance at the 2002 Asian Games, earning him the Dronacharya Award. Notably, he is the first Indian to win all 3 national sports awards. We are glad to have you here with us, Sir. Joining him is Amrit Mathur ji, who is an advisor to the Federation of Indian Fantasy Sports. Amrit, sir, has over 30 years of experience in senior management positions across sports federations, authorities, corporate entities, and government and media. Sir started his career as a secretary at Railway Sports Board in 1988 and was responsible for formulating Indian sports policies in Indian Railways. In 1996, he took up the role of Secretary Sports Authority of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and headed a team tasked to implement sports plans and schemes of Government of India. Along with them, we have Ms. Palak Kohli ji, born on August 12, 2002. She is a rising star in Indian para-badminton. Despite being born with an underdeveloped arm and overcoming a bone tumor, she has shown remarkable resilience and talent. Training under Gaurav Khanna at the national camp, she became the only Indian para-badminton player to qualify for both singles and doubles at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics and has also participated in 2024 Paris Paralympics. Her achievements include multiple national medals such as silver in women's singles at the Para International 2024, gold in women's doubles at Spanish Para Badminton International 2024, and bronze at the BWF Para Badminton World Championships in 2024. She continues to inspire young athletes, proving that determination can overcome any obstacle. She is also the brand ambassador of Adidas, and she is world number 4 right now. And she is the only woman who has represented India in Paralympics for 2 consecutive times. She has gotten a gold medal and 2 bronze medals in Asia Para Youth Games. And so we have these amazing speakers right here with us. So without any further ado, let us start the conversation, and I'm delighted to hand over the stage to our speakers as we unravel the incredible world of leadership for excellence in sports. Can we start the session with a huge round of applause?
Thank you very much, and welcome to this session. Homi, thank you very much. Palak, so happy that you are here. We are talking about excellence and leadership, and I think they're related. But firstly, I'd like to mention that in India, we talk about these things, especially excellence, in a very loose manner. Everybody is great, everybody is an icon, everybody is a legend. So I think not everybody who's so described deserves this kind of title. But today, with Homi Motivala ji, I think it is totally appropriate that if we talk of excellence, he's a person who symbolizes and represents excellence in every way. In the introduction, it was mentioned that there's 3 major awards in India for sports, and he's won all 3. You know, Arjun Award, the Khel Ratna Award, and the Dronacharya Award. I think that's absolutely exceptional for one person to do different roles and be at the top in all the roles. So congratulations once again. So happy that you are here.
Thank you, Amrit, and thank you for inviting me to this Bhopal Literature and Art Festival. I'm truly honored to have been called here, and I would like to, pass on whatever I have learned through my journey in sport, and hope that it can inspire some others.
आपको काफी सवाल पूछेंगे भी.
जी जरूर.
And also, Palak, like Homi ji, is inspirational. The kind of things she's overcome to reach where she is, and what an example she is to everybody about having the will to do well and to succeed. So again, congratulations, Palak, to you. So we'll start with Homi ji with you. And firstly, you have specialized in a niche sport, sailing. Now, I must confess that most people are really not conversant with what sailing is, how it's played, what is the structure, what are the different tournaments, what are the different categories, etc. So will you please take us through that? Explain sailing to us.
Sure. So, sailing is a sport which is actually it is a very niche sport. It is not widely, contested for in India. But we have, from our country, produced 4 world champions in this sport, which is a very less known fact. It is not a mainstream sport like cricket or something which gets tremendous publicity. So I think just to give an idea, there are thousands of types of boats in the world. Sailing is a sport that uses wind as the main source of propulsion, or in fact the only source of propulsion, although you do use body kinetics also to help propel the boat in certain ways. So how do you compete on equal terms when there are different kinds of boats? So I think that is the first question that we need to explore.
Boats are not standardized.
No.
Not everybody is competing with the same kind of boat.
No, so that's what I want to get to. So boats are divided into categories called classes. So a class decides what is the characteristics of that particular boat. It gives you the size, the shape, the number of people that will sail it, the materials in which it can be built, the number of sails that it can carry, the material of the sails, and various things. In fact, it's like a very big legal document which actually lists out every finer detail. And the aim of every sports person who is sailing in that particular class is to try and see how within those rules you can use them to maximize the efficiency of the boat to get the maximum out of it. Now, every boat, when you have a certain shape, there are certain tolerances when you build that boat. And it's an extremely technical thing where within the tolerances you can build boats that are suited more for certain conditions. So if you have, for instance, an Olympics, which was the last Olympics where the sailing event was held in Marseille, which was a light wind, people would have maximized their boats within the class rules to try and get a best performance within a light wind range.
Let me interrupt you. Normally in any sport, the equipment is standardized. You have to use the same kind of cricket bat, you have to have the same kind of a tennis racket. There is very little difference. Largely it is standardized, and the idea is that everybody competes equally with the same kind of equipment.
No, so this is also equal, but say you took an example of a cricket bat, but you see the edges are slightly thicker, or
but there are minor tolerances.
So that is exactly what you play within to get the maximum out of that boat for a particular kind of...
One related question to this. So idea is in most sports, everybody should compete on equal terms. Yeah. That's why equipment, etc. is regulated. But there are sports like polo, where the horse can make a major difference. No two horses are similar. So you can't even have a yardstick of what kind of pony to use. So there, and even in, say, horse racing, the quality of the horse can actually determine the result. Similarly in polo. So that's the difference between normal sport and maybe specialized sport like this.
Oh, absolutely true. So, can we start the presentation? I've got some photos of different classes and categories that are sailed in the Olympics. So this is a laser class boat. It's sailed by one person. It is a very standard boat. And this is why. So I'll just show you different types of boats, so you'll see how they can be different, you know. So this is the laser. This is a class called the 470. You know, this is a two-person boat. It's sailed by a mixed crew, one male, one female. It has 3 sails. We can only see 2 over here, but that is one. This is a windsurfer. It's called an IQ foil. It actually, there is a foil below the water, and the board actually lifts out of the water, you know, as you can see. This is a catamaran, again a foiling catamaran called the Nacra 17. It's again sailed by a mixed crew. So, you know, as we go through these, you can see that the boats are quite different, and they need different skills to operate them. They, you know, it's extremely technical. You also have kite boarding. Now, this isn't a sail, it's actually a kite which is up in the air, and you use that to power your way along a course. Now, so these are the different categories and types of boats that you will have, you know. But now the question comes, how do you actually conduct a race, you know? For a race, you have to set a course on the water, and that course is set using inflatable marker buoys. And then there is a particular route that you have to take around the course.
That's very similar to how you run a marathon. There's a course, there are markers. But what is the distance? How long or how for a normal race?
Okay, so it depends. So different classes have different, they put
Distances.
not distances, but they have sort of a time, you know, they expect that the race would finish in 60 minutes or 75 minutes.
What is the longest?
No, so there are races that go around the world also. So,
आपने किए? You did the all around the world one?
no. In fact, one solo round the world race is actually ongoing at this point in time. Just to talk back about the course. So, okay, sorry, to go back. So other than those one design classes, so longer distance races like around the world, or there are a lot of standard races around the world, like a Sydney Hobart race or a Middle Sea race, which starts from Malta and goes around Sicily and comes back. These are in the range of 600 miles. Now these races are not sailed in one design boats. They are sailed in bigger yachts that have different sizes. So now how do you equalize these? So there is a rating agency which takes the details of each type of yacht and works out their probable performance based on their characteristics. And you get a rating number, like a sort of like a handicap, which is used to correct the time when you finish such a long race. And so these boats will not have the same, they are all different, but that is how you work on those. And then the absolute extreme top of the line is the America's Cup, which is a very, so these are the boats that sail the America's Cup. They are absolute technical marvels. It takes about $150 million to mount an America's Cup campaign. These boats actually, they fly, they don't sail. If you see, they are on foils. They are actually move out of the water. So they are absolute state of the art. And then when we come down to the course, so this would be like how a typical course would be set, you know. You have a start at the bottom over here. Typically this is, the course is set based on the direction of the wind. Now people think that you should only be able to sail with the wind behind you and the wind pushing you, but sails are actually aerofoils, and you can actually sail against the wind. So you can sail at an angle of 45 degrees. So this first, you start here, the first mark is laid directly into the wind. So if you see a sailing race, you will be surprised because boats will be going in all different directions. And unless you really understand the sport, you can't really make out what they're doing. And so typically you would do that, then you would you could have various loops doing this or one. So it depends. So like I said, you know, they will decide on the time that they would want the boats to finish.
Homi, you live in Bombay, na?
Yes.
आपने क्रॉस मैदान देखा है?
Yes.
वहाँ क्रिकेट देखी है आपने?
Absolute.
10-10 मैच एक साथ हो रहे हैं, and you can't make out who's playing who.
Something like that.
Race is something like that. Now everybody going in different directions.
Yeah, so, sorry. Oh, well, you can be around the course, you cannot be inside the course. So in like an Olympics or in a World Championships or Asian Games, you would have coaches which would be around the course to monitor what is happening, so that you can then guide your people accordingly after the race. So this is like a typical start. So a start line is laid, you know, you will have a marker buoy at the bottom, the orange one. At the top there will be a boat, and actually you can see the Indian flag over here, one of the boats. No, not me.
So these boats cost a bomb?
Yes, it is an expensive sport, there is no doubt. There is a lot of technology that goes into it. Like any sport, I think at the top end, everything is expensive.
So can we talk about your journey? How did you get started?
Sure.
And
So-
what sort of attracted you to sailing? And
Yeah, but
then please complete that.
no, this is over.
Oh, okay. So now tell us, how did you get started? And
So-
what attracted you to sailing?
So it's a very interesting story, because as a child, I was always fascinated by the sea. So even when I was, 4, 5 years old, we used to live in a place called Dadar, which is not really anywhere near the sea. But at Gateway of India, they used to have these sailing dhows at that time, which used to take people around the harbor for a joyride. And I used to drag my parents there every weekend. I want to go on the sailing boat. So it was, I don't know, it was a passion that started there. And then around 10, when I was about 10, I joined this organization called the Sea Cadet Corps. It is a youth organization for, naval activities, or let's say maritime activities. So that is based in Bombay. And this is their headquarters over there. It's a concrete building built in the shape of a ship, and you have young cadets, both boys and girls, who are taught all kinds of things over there, all maritime activities. And over there, just about when I joined, they started this thing for sailing. And it was a boat called the cadet class boat. It's a small boat. It's about 12 feet. It takes 2 young children. It is age restricted. You have to be below the age of 17 to participate in championships in this. And typically the helm, who is the guy at the back who is steering the boat, is the older child. And he has a younger child who is slightly lighter and smaller in front. And so that is where my journey started. And I never looked back after that.
So great, but then you joined the Navy.
Then I joined the NDA
Yeah.
in 75, and I continued sailing through my time.
So the Army and the Navy, they've been supporting sailing?
Oh yes, absolutely.
There's a tradition of sailing being one of the disciplines they support.
Yes.
Not many do.
So it's surprising, actually. The Army also supports sailing in a very big way. So in fact, this is of course the competitive side of it, but the Corps of Engineers of the Army was the first people to actually send a team to sail around the world. And equally surprising, there is a naval officer who was the first person who climbed Everest. So yes, the armed forces have supported sports and
Well, traditionally, rowing, sailing, even polo, etc., were Army sort of dominated, controlled, supported.
yeah, that's right. And but they have actually, and once you get to a certain level, I think the armed forces gives you full leeway to pursue your sport to whatever end you want. So they give you the time to do it.
So
They give
once you joined the Navy, you had access to, as you said, time, training, equipment, support, everything.
Well, it took a few years, because you start getting that support only once you have proven that you are capable of getting to some level.
That's a problem with Indian sport, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem with sport, I think. You have to be good to be able to get the support.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't get the support when you need it. Once you made it, people are willing to support you. So that is the challenge.
So when I first joined the Navy, I used to finish around, 8th, 9th, 10th in the nationals, and I was not able to move ahead. There was a block, sort of. I didn't know what to do now to get ahead. So in 1983, I walked up to a senior naval officer who was a national champion. He had a silver medalist in the Asian Games. I walked up to him and said, "Sir, I want to sail with you." So he said, "Why do you want to sail with me? You're a helm in your own right, you're doing well." I said, "No, I want to sail with you for a few years and learn what you do and how you are able to win. I want to learn the art of winning, not just of sailing." And I sailed with him for from 83 to 85, 2 years. And it was a revelation for me. I just realized that it was just a mental game at the end. At the top level, it's all in the mind. Winning and losing is all in the mind. It's not, your skills are there. You have to use those skills and, power yourself to win.
So this you learned by actually sailing with him.
Yes.
But you mentioned that, you reached a sort of a block. So was it block technical? Was it block in terms of support and what you needed? Money, sponsorship, whatever? Or it just not being able to make the next step?
Just not being able to make the next step and not being able to understand how to make that jump. It's a quantum jump that in sports, every jump you make is a quantum jump. It's not very gradual. So you understand something, you crack some thing, and you jump up. Then you...
I think that's very interesting because I think this is common to all sport, that you
Absolutely.
need to be mentally strong, you need to make that jump. But just explain, how does it happen? What do you have to do?
I really can't explain it. It's just that I realized, I just saw how Surinder Mongia was actually sailing the boat. I realized that there was no real difference in the steering skills or his understanding of the race. It's just how the confidence that he had to be able to take certain decisions, which, I would probably think 5 times, and by the time the opportunity is lost. You have to have that conviction in yourself to do that, and that is where your mental strength comes in.
So, obviously, when you're talking mental strength and being confident, at the back of your mind, there is that thing of failure. You might fail, so you have to do something which will make you win.
See, sport of sailing is, there are 2 completely different aspects to it. One is you are sailing against the wind. So you have to understand the wind and nature, the waves, and, the second thing is you have your opponents with you. So you have to also be ahead of them.
You have to have what?
You have opponents. Okay. You're sailing against people,
right.
So sailing at one level has been described as playing chess on water. So you have to keep positioning yourself, thinking how the wind will change, how it will help you, what are the effects that are going to happen. So it's a very mental sport, actually.
Wow. I think before I ask you questions related to this, let's ask Palak about this. You also experience this problem of having to be mentally strong, confident in order to win, to do well. Is that a challenge?
Yes, definitely. Like we talk about sport, like sir told, yeah, it's lot more a mental game, I would say, because we compete at international levels, being at Paralympics, being at any major tournaments. All athletes, they come from training hard, being physically so strong, having working on all these skills, because badminton is a very agile sport. You need to have speed, agility, power, endurance, everything. So I think yes, it's just all about how you mentally train yourself, how you train your mind, because not every time, the game is in your hands. And it starts with love ball, and it's just who makes the end good and faster.
2 questions. You said you have to train yourself. Is it training yourself, or you have somebody to help you become mentally strong? So do you have somebody to help you become mentally strong, or you do it yourself?
Actually, I train in a badminton academy, which is India's first professional academy, which is dedicatedly for disabled athletes. Okay. That is in Lucknow, and under Gaurav Khanna sir, who is the head national coach of Indian Para-Badminton team and Dronacharya and Padam Shri awardee. So we are a group of a lot more athletes, and all disabled athletes coming from different disabilities and different phases of life, and some on wheelchair, some polio, some having amputation like me, some having in leg, some are dwarf, small height. So they're all varieties of athletes from different phases. And I think for us, it's more easier because we live in a society where people still don't feel like disabled athletes, or if a disabled person can, do something in life and they can create their own impression in the world. And so I think it's always challenging, but I feel myself to be very fortunate to be in an environment where everybody is boosting themselves, and the training setup where we train, like all athletes feel like as their home, and we never feel like we are disabled, and I think that's the major difference.
Just as you have a coach who looks after the skill side, do you have a coach or a person who looks after the mental side?
Yes, definitely.
There is
Yes.
somebody in the Lucknow Institute or whatever. There is.
Yes, we have tie-up with the mental health, and we do psychology sessions, sports psychology, which specifically tells us and teaches us how to control your mind, as the mind is not ours, and we create our own thoughts, and we are the producers of our own thought factory. So the moment you want to think positive, like I want to make this way out, or I want to be here at this event, so you will get multiple options to make yourself at that event. And the moment you want to think that ये काम हमें नहीं करना, या यार ये छोड़ देते हैं, then your mind will start working at that direction, and it will give you directions that वो काम कैसे नहीं हो सकता. So it's all what in our hands, and I think that's very important to understand.
My other
as well.
question was about every sportsman struggles to find support. So were you lucky to find people who would support you with whatever you needed to become better at badminton?
Like sir told, ki support milna, it's very difficult. And like you told before, like in India, it's very difficult to get the support at the right moment.
I think that's a normal problem of all athletes in India. किसी को मिलता है, किसी को नहीं मिलता, किसी को कम मिलता है, time पे नहीं मिलता. That's a common problem with our system. So were you lucky that you had people who were helping you out?
Yes, in initial stage, yes, definitely. I had to struggle first to be there, be the national champion, to come up to play international tournaments, to come in the top 10 and then get supported. But yes, I'm fortunate that in very early stage of my career, I was supported by Wellspin, and then I got with Go Sports, and there are people around me to support. And but yeah, like it's difficult for normal athletes also to get support, and it's more difficult for disabled athletes to get support.
What is the difference between support by Wellspun and support by Go Sports? Do they give you different kind of inputs or help, or is it just money or some other support in a wider manner?
Actually, basically, like the support that is provided is like as a athlete to perform at the international levels and to prepare yourself for the Paralympics. There are too many areas where you need the support, and not all support could be fulfilled by one. So we need other supporters to support that, and we have so many international tournaments in a row. Like we have 15 international tournaments in a year, which you have to compete to gain world ranking. Yeah. And you have to gain, when you gain world ranking, when you are in top 5 in the world ranking, then you make it to Paris Paralympics. Then you will be able to make it to LA. In order to be there in the top, you have to play tournaments, gain points, perform well, to be there in the top in the tournaments, finishing in the top 3 and all. So that's the way the ranking works. And each and every tournament is very expensive. We have tournaments in Europe, we have tournaments in Asian countries, European countries, all tournaments are too expensive. And we have to stay in the BWF official hotels only, and which are too expensive. So altogether, each tournament costing is too high.
So for you, the Army provided the support, the Navy?
Yeah, the Navy did, but you see, I got support in terms of equipment, time, and effort. But I think Indian sport has moved ahead a lot from the time when I was participating. So, like, I think we really missed having a mental, sports psychologist to help us and guide us. We didn't have that. We didn't have specialist weather teams to, work out and map out, where you go for big events, what the wind is going to do in those areas. leading countries actually have teams that are there for, months and years and monitor these things. And it's a micro weather system. They are mapping what will happen within a circle of about 4 or 5 miles. And it's very interesting because they actually get, so much more support because they know that when the wind comes from here, it is going to oscillate 15 degrees on either side. It will be slowly clocking right at a particular rate. And it's very scientific.
So when it's so technical, obviously you need a large amount of, say, support staff?
Absolutely.
Go into all these details?
Absolutely. So, a lot of the time, our Indian press decries that, okay, we had only 20 athletes and 40 support staff. The point is not that there are 40 support staff. The issue with Indian sport is that the 40 support staff are not really supporting you. So you need the support staff that is knowledgeable and that can actually assist the athlete, rather than people are just going because they are part of the federation or some such.
Listen, you sort of switched roles after you, stopped competing. You became the coach and you ultimately was Dronacharya Award. So how difficult was the switch? Not every, good sportsman makes a good coach.
Yeah, but you see, actually, when you talk of coaching also, I would be a terrible coach for coaching beginners to learn how to sail, for instance. You need a completely different mindset. My speciality was coaching people who were at the top of the game, people with whom I had been sailing earlier, people who had trust in my abilities to be able to help them, So when you're coaching at the highest level, it's very different because the technical skills are already there. You're not really teaching people technical skills. You are just assisting them to actually grow into the best version of themselves, So I didn't find it challenging at all. And in fact, I found it very rewarding because I could actually help people to grow in the sport and grow as human beings as well, along with it.
I think both of you mentioned this thing about being mentally strong. So this is some area you work on with all the people you're coaching?
Well, by the time I was coaching, we did have access to sports psychologists, so
Yeah.
we used to use them.
I'm sure it's much more now.
Yes.
And it's much more
better.
critical.
Yeah. So, in fact, some of the most rewarding races that I have sailed were not races that I won. They were races where I started badly and managed to come up and actually get a decent finishing position. Unlike a game like badminton where winning is everything. Here, in a sailing event, it's not just one race. It is a series of races because, you want to get someone who is good in a whole range of conditions that happen. So every race counts and every position that you get in that race counts. So, so when you actually sail a good race and you start or you have some problem and you manage to work your way through it, that is where you feel really satisfied, that you have done well. Yeah, races you win, yes, of course you feel good. It's not that you don't.
So compared to, say, 10 years back or 15 years back, does data also play a bigger role?
Data plays a huge role.
Now.
In fact, like I was talking about the technical side of the thing, sails have different shapes based on the conditions that you have to sail in. Sails have different shapes based on the bend characteristics of the mast on which they are put. All this is all, sail making companies and specialists actually work to make the sail for you, for your weight and for the conditions in which you're going to sail. The same way that I was talking about, maximizing the shape of your boat based on the conditions that you're going to get. So it is very technically driven and a lot of computer analysis is done on...
So the data guy is part of your team? Of the coaching team in a way?
Well, should be.
Any abhi?
No. So you are depending on experts outside in the industry to guide you.
But they're not supporting the team, so the Indian team is supported
No,
by
but
a specialist data person or somebody.
That doesn't happen for any of the leading teams because these are very specialized niche areas. So say like a company called North Sails is the leading sail manufacturer in the Olympic level. Okay, so they have their experts. So your coach and you will talk to the expert over there and you will discuss and he will say, okay, let's try this, let's try that. So you actually buy, you have to be able to buy various sails, try them out, see what works. They will send their people behind you to take photos, analyze the sail shape and try and change it for your performance.
We talked about certain aspects of modern sport: mental strength, data support, knowledgeable support staff. Another thing, how important or critical is physical fitness and standards of fitness in sailing?
It depends on the class of boat that you're sailing. You will need different, but you need, general physical fitness, agility, balance. These are, you have to be at the top of all of them. There is no compromise on that. But then every athlete at the top end of the sport is equally, physically fit. So some people, also, you see what happens is mentally, everyone is tuned to a certain type of condition in which they are good, So for instance, someone will be mentally better in a lighter wind condition. Someone is better in a medium wind. Someone is good when the wind is really blowing. So you have to try and, become all round, be steady in all conditions and extremely good in some. So, that's what helps you.
So in a way, cricket is, sailing is like cricket, dependent hugely on conditions.
Absolutely, it is a sport that is driven by the weather.
Yeah, which is not so in badminton.
It is there in badminton
You
as
get the
well
drift.
because we have the drift on court. And badminton, it's not just one match that you play. Every day you have to play match, first round, second round, pre-quarters, quarters, semi-final. So the moment when you come to the tough matches to the later stage, not every day our body works the same way.
The body obviously,
Yeah.
Body has to adjust to the number of matches you played. But basically the conditions are the same except for the drift.
It's just an indoor hall, which is always same, but always there are different conditions of light.
The drift
and-
makes a major difference?
Yes, definitely. It plays a major role because the direction of the shuttlecock changes and it's
No,
more
but
drift.
why is there a drift? Is it only the air conditioning or for some other reason? Why is there a drift in an indoor hall?
Drift is basically one major reason is the air conditioner, and the second is it also depends upon the height of the court and the pressure where the air conditioner is working, because in all the international tournaments we have ACs on. And so it depends upon the area and it depends upon the door of entrance of the athletes, exit of the athletes, which normally remains open throughout because it's
So when you, before a tournament or before a match, when you go and practice, you sort of, adjust to all these things.
Yes, before initial stage of our tournaments, we have 1 day prior, which is a practice session where we adapt to the hall conditions because they are totally different, and so we check with how the surroundings are and how the court, how the shuttle is moving, because there are too many brands of shuttles also, and in every tournament we have different shuttles which are being approved for that particular event. So I
So
think
that's also like cricket. It depends on what ball you're using.
Yes,
There are different
definitely.
makes, those balls behave in a different manner. So
Yeah,
similarly, shuttlecocks.
Similarly, we have different speeds also of the shuttlecocks. So it also depends upon the different brand, the different model, and along with that, it depends upon which speed the shuttlecock is.
But aren't most international tournaments played with a certain kind of approved shuttle?
Actually, for para-badminton, there are 2-3 brands which are approved, but every brand has a different quality and different model. So it depends upon the budget that the international federation get for the specific event, and they decide.
And they
which-
notify you before the tournament that this shuttle is going to be used.
At times we get to know, but
Yeah.
at times not also. So
Then you find out.
Yeah, then we have to find out that day. But I think one more thing, what important thing that we do, for the major tournaments, this time for the Paris Paralympic Games. So Paralympics always takes place after the able-body Olympics has already finished. So Gaurav sir had a discussion with Lakshya Sen and other badminton athletes who had been there in the Paris Olympic Games. So how are the conditions and all, so that we can be mentally more prepared to get those conditions and to adapt ourselves more quickly in those.
So, Homi, let me ask you more questions about coaches, etc. Because compared to, say, 15, 20 years ago, now, maybe earlier, the athlete was doing everything himself, with very little support from either a technical coach or anybody else. But now coaches are important to every athlete. Now, do we have coaches who are actually good enough to be working with the athletes? And even if you're a great player of the past, Is there a system by which the coaches refresh the knowledge, they update themselves with whatever is the latest development in that sport? Is there a system in India where the coaches keep getting better and updating their knowledge?
Well, I can't speak for other sports, but I think that basically the coach has to have his own interest in remaining, relevant with the latest, developments in that sport. How the sport is changing. The sport is changing. Every sport is changing rapidly. More technology is coming in. So the coach has to understand what is happening. He has to be hooked into the global system.
But don't we have an institution like say Patiala or somewhere where he goes and he gets to know the latest, what is happening, and comes back a better coach?
Well, at least I don't think any sailing coaches are involved in this. If it is there, I hope it is there, because it is really needed, to keep people abreast of the latest
Are
developments.
there courses by the government also for making coaches more aware about what sailing is and get the professional more coaches for sailing?
Actually, it is such a small sport. I don't know how much, not really. I mean, the answer is no, to be honest. It's more from personal interest that the coach takes. But we do get foreign coaches who come in, and then the Indian coach is along with the foreign coach and probably learning from him all the time, or he should be learning. And we are reasonable, but foreign coaches cost a fortune, good foreign coaches.
I think we are short of time, so I think I'll just ask two final questions to both of you. One is about coaches. There's been this debate recently that Gopichand has been saying repeatedly that you must get the past players into the system to become coaches. But the problem is the money that is offered to Indian coaches is very often only a fraction of what a foreign coach gets. So recently a badminton coach resigned and he joined Singapore because he said, "Mere ko paise nahi mil rahe." So do you think we need to do something serious about how our coaching system is?
Absolutely. You see, if your salary should be based on your ability to coach, it should not be based on the color of your skin or which country you come from. So it's ridiculous to pay an Indian coach, say 5,000 rupees a day, and pay a foreign coach, 500 euros. There is no logic in it. So a coach should be, you need to, based on their skill set and what they can provide to the athlete. That is the basis on which you should be paying a coach a salary, not on any other factor.
Okay, one last question. To Palak first, then to you. Where do you see, say, badminton and your own career 5 years down the line?
Pardon?
5 years down the line.
Definitely.
In terms of the support, the recognition for para games, and to badminton and to you.
I think yes, definitely now it's definitely para sports altogether is to a different height, because when we qualified for the Tokyo Paralympics, before going to Tokyo Paralympics, PM sir had interaction with us. After coming, again interaction, then going to Paris, coming after that. So I think that the initiative that the Prime Minister himself has taken to talking to para-athletes, to just to make that fun in that entire meeting room, I think that has enabled to make a lot of change in the entire mindset of the people all around. And I think there are several areas. Now people have started recognizing what para sports is. Now people have started recognizing para athletes. Pehle bhi para athletes were going to international tournaments, bringing medals and bringing too many achievements, but they were not recognized at that moment. And today the recognition is far more higher.
So
And
it's much
every
positive
state-
now, much more positive now.
It's very, very positive now. Every state is having same cash award for able-bodied athletes and for
So
para-athletes
that's
as
good to
well.
know. How do you see sailing 5 years down the line?
Well, it's been growing well, but I think all Indian sport is on a upward graph. At present, it's good. Private companies have come in. There are, funding is more easily available. I'm sure there are much more that we can grow. And for a country of our size, we definitely should be performing better. But I think generally all sport in India is on the uprise. So it's a positive.
I think that's a fair
Thank you
conclusion.
so much, sir.
Fair conclusion that things are positive and things will be better going forward. So thank you very much, both of you, for actually being excellent in whatever you're doing, and good luck to you both.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone.
Thank you.
So I must say, what an inspiring conversation we had. Thank you so much, Captain Homi Motivala ji, for sharing your profound insights into leadership, sports, and excellence. Your words have illuminated the path of what it means to lead, not just in sports but in life itself. A heartfelt thanks to Amrit Mathur ji for steering this enriching conversation with your vast expertise. Your ability to connect the dots between leadership, sports, and success has truly added depth to this discussion. It has been an absolute honor to have you, Ms. Palak Kohli ji, with us today. Your journey, your perseverance, and success has truly inspired us all. We are grateful for your presence and sharing your time with us. Thank you for being here as a special guest, and we wish you even greater success in your future. And as we bring this profoundly enlightening session to a close, I would like to invite Brigadier Sanjay Agrawal ji, a valued founder member of our society, to come forward and offer a commemorative memento to our distinguished speakers. This gesture serves as a heartfelt expression for our appreciation for their contribution and insights. This artwork has been masterfully created by Padma Shri Bhil artist Bhuri Bai for BLF 2025. It beautifully illustrates the interconnectedness of nature and earth.
Congratulations, Homi.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Can we have a huge round of applause, please?
For the benefit of the audience, she said it in the beginning and he repeated. What is this man's unique achievement which nobody has in the whole wide world? Who can repeat? You have those spare books? That's the question that she was going to ask, and I'm asking it on her behalf. What is this honorable speaker's achievement which nobody ever in the whole wide world has had? No hands. Oh, you are disqualified, sir. You and me been together 50 years. So you are disqualified. Punishment और मिल जाएगी. देखा अमित को? हाँ. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we will now have Captain Tamal Banerjee tell us who's been his naval buddy 50 years. Yes, please.
He's a gallantry award winner, Shaurya Chakra, apart from clean sweep in all sporting awards.
Wow. And let me elaborate. Sporting has two disciplines. One is the sport, where you're a sports person, and the other is the guru for sports persons. So he has won the Arjuna Award and the then Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, which is now the Major Dhyanchand Khel Ratna, as the sports person. And then as a guru, he has won the Dronacharya Award also. Salute, sir. And you please come forward and accept a book from this.
So our winner will receive A Living an Enriched Life by Dale Carnegie, a timeless guide to cultivating enthusiasm and courage in life. Can we have a huge round of applause for our winner?
You won it by a fair sense of elimination because nobody else could. Sir, you have to.
Congratulations, Thomas.
Yeah. And now, for Palak, I was having a word with her. The maturity, the thoughts of an international level sports person. I have done national level skiing, but I always respect these kind of people. I said, I want a photograph with you separate from the stage for my motivational talks. And thank you for obliging me.
Thanks.
And finally, for an excellent moderation by a person who is eminently suitable for this. I don't know if you grasped what she said in the beginning. He has a very big overview as a Secretary Sports Authority of India, apart from his involvement in cricket, etc. earlier. So thank you. It's been a wonderful session. I have enjoyed it, and I'm sure that the audience, they're all dedicated people who are here. Yes, please.
We would have loved it if we had a question and answer session later on.
Yeah, they didn't. Unfortunately, he got carried away with his questions. I was getting very upset with her because she's not controlling it. But right now, as they are walking out, they will be available in the author's lounge. So all of you can talk to all three of them. Each one of them is a bright spark in his or her own right, and they'll be available to you. Okay? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, panelists, speakers. Not at all.
I would once again like to thank everybody. Thank you so much for your time.
I'll have these covered.